Henry VIII, the infamous Tudor monarch, ruled England from 1509 to 1547, known for his towering presence, ruthless political manoeuvring, and explosive temper. He reshaped the country through force of will and force of violence. His reign was marked by executions of 2 of his wives, the dissolution of the monasteries, and the brutal suppression of anyone who dared to oppose him. Even in life, Henry VIII was a figure people feared to cross. As he aged, Henry became increasingly paranoid, volatile, and cruel. His health deteriorated, his leg ulcer festered, and his temper grew legendary. Servants tiptoed around him, courtiers avoided his gaze, and yet, despite his physical decline, his presence remained overwhelming. A king who demanded obedience even as his body failed him. He may have died in 1547, but it's been reported that Henry VIII wouldn't even allow death to stop him from making his presence known, as there have been many alleged sightings of the monarch at Windsor Castle, even after he left the mortal realm. Today, we are going to be delving into every reported sighting of Henry VIII's ghost at Windsor Castle. Sighting number 1, the Limping King. This is the earliest widely told account of Henry VIII's ghost being at Windsor Castle, and it comes from castle staff in the early 1900s. Several night guards reported hearing heavy, uneven footsteps echoing through the cloisters long after the castle had closed to visitors. The sound was unmistakable, a slow, dragging limp. The detail is significant. In life, Henry VIII suffered from a severe leg ulcer that caused him to walk with a painful, uneven gait. One guard described the sound as a man of great weight, pacing with fury, as though someone was stomping in frustration. When the guards followed the noise, it always led them to the same place, the corridor outside the room where Henry VIII once slept. But whenever they would turn the corner, the hallway was empty. The footsteps would stop abruptly, as if the king had noticed he was being followed. Sighting number 2, the Furious Roar. In the 1930s, a maid working in the castle reported hearing what she described as a bellowing roar of rage, coming from the same hallway associated with Henry VIII. She believed at first that a living person was shouting, the voice was that loud. But when she approached, the temperature dropped so sharply that she could see her breath. The roar echoed again, this time closer, as though someone was standing directly behind her. She turned, but no one was there. The maid fled, refusing to work that wing of the castle again, and other staff later admitted that they had heard similar outbursts, a deep, angry male voice echoing through empty rooms. Given Henry VIII's infamous temper, many believed the king himself was still expressing his fury from beyond the grave. Sighting number 3, the Cloaked Figure. In the 1950s, a castle caretaker locking up for the night claimed he saw a large man in Tudor-style clothing standing at the far end of the hallway. The figure wore a heavy cloak and broad shoulders, far broader than any modern man. The caretaker called out, thinking it was a costumed historian or reenactor who had gotten lost. The figure did not respond. Instead, it turned its head slowly, revealing a blurred, indistinct face, as though the features were being swallowed by shadows. The caretaker later said the figure radiated an overwhelming sense of authority, the kind that made him instinctively bow his head. When he looked up again, the figure had vanished. Sighting number 4, the King in the Cloisters. In the 70s, a group of tourists visiting Windsor Castle reported seeing a massive man with a beard and ornate clothing, standing in the cloisters. They assumed he was part of a historical demonstration until he walked straight through a stone pillar. One tourist, so shocked by this, fainted on the spot. Another burst into tears, and the third insisted the figure looked exactly like the portraits of Henry VIII. When staff arrived, the tourist was still visibly shaken. One kept repeating, "He looked angry, He looked so angry. The staff quietly informed them that they were not the first to see such a figure. Sighting number 5. The Guard Encounter. A Windsor Castle guard on night duty at some point in the 90s reported one of the most chilling encounters on record. He was patrolling the upper ward when he heard the familiar limping footsteps approaching from behind. Thinking it was another guard, he turned and suddenly froze. A towering man in Tudor robes was standing only a few feet away. His face was pale, his eyes sunken, and his expression twisted in irritation, as though the guard had interrupted him. The guard later said the figure radiated authority and anger, and that he felt an overwhelming urge to kneel. Before he could react, the figure simply faded into thin air. The guard, so shocked and shaken by this experience, reportedly resigned 1 week later. Sighting number 6. The Royal Apartments Incident. At some point in the early 2000s, a staff member closing the doors to the Royal Apartments heard a loud thud, followed by a dragging sound, as though someone were pulling a heavy object across the floor. When she opened the door, she saw a shadowy figure standing near the window. The figure slowly turned, revealing the outline of a broad-shouldered man with a beard. The staff member described the figure as solid, not misty, like a real person in the flesh. But when she stepped forward, the figure dissolved into a cloud of cold air. The witness later admitted that she believed she had indeed seen Henry VIII. Sighting number 7. Now, these are not one specific sighting, but there's been various reports in the 2020s of people who have visited and staff of Windsor Castle reporting strange occurrences. While not all of these are attributed directly to Henry VIII, several witnesses have described loud, angry male voices in empty rooms, heavy footsteps matching a limping gait, a large shadow figure appearing near the cloisters, and sudden drops in temperature in Henry VIII's former quarters. Whether these sightings are the restless spirit of a tyrannical king, echoes of history, or simply the imagination running wild in an ancient castle, one thing is certain: Henry VIII left a mark on England that time could not erase. And if these stories are to be believed, death couldn't erase him either.